guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how I am adding a cursive and history type resource activity to our homeschool and how my fourth grader is loving it. So you normally don't hear cursive and history mixed together in a curriculum. They're normally their own separate curriculums. However, I was able to get my hands on Cursive Logic's U.S. Presidents and Citizens from Timberdoodle. So today's video is sponsored by Timberdoodle. They were nice enough to send this to me and I want to share it with you guys. So Cursive Logic is a cursive program. They offer, I think, 3 or 4 different level books. This is not one of the beginner ones. This is definitely one of like the more advanced. So your child does need to have an understanding of cursive, and I would say be able to at least write full words, 2 full sentences before getting something like this. I will link this down below from the Timberdoodle site. Also, if you're interested in Timberdoodle, Timberdoodle makes these amazing curriculum kits that just boxes everything up for specific grade levels, either religious or non-religious. Everything that you need put together. This one does come in the 5th grade curriculum kit, so I will link that down below if you're interested in learning more about what Timberdoodle has to offer. Make sure you check that out. So this is in the 5th grade kit, and I completely understand why, because I think your child needs to have a very solid cursive knowledge. This cannot be their intro to cursive course at all, but I'm using it with my 4th grader, and the reason I'm using it with my 4th grader, one, she loves cursive and she is blowing through her traditional cursive handwriting course. And so to almost like slow her down and just to kind of add on, this has been great. Plus, she's learning American history this year. And so for this is U.S. Presidents and Citizens, and it has like all 50 states in it. That kind of can align with her U.S. history. And so I just feel like I'm reinforcing cursive, I'm reinforcing history, and all those things. I like how it's bound. It's bound on the top. I'm getting used to that. I have some other homeschool curriculum that's also bound on the top for kids. It's also really good if your kids are left-handed, which, you know, if you're not left-handed, you don't even think of things like that. So when you open this book, the introduction is the 50 states. Like I said, it goes into all 50 states as well, which you really wouldn't know unless you get into it. So it does go to all 50 states, which is awesome because we are also learning all 50 states. It has the Constitution and information about the Constitution. It has how states are organized and how the workbook goes. And so hopefully I'm doing this right. So this is page 5. You flip it over and there's page 6 and then page 7. So it's just you have to get used to it, flipping it around to make sure what you're doing. It has pencil hold instructions, make sure they're holding their pencils correctly. Cursive, and so it's going to your space, your size, spacing, and so this is really working on perfecting that cursive, right? Like you can't have big old sloppy weird spacing in your letters. It needs to be perfect. Finger tracing, so it does go back over, you know, the letters pretty quickly. Start here, trace them, and then your G's, and so where your lines should go on the line itself where you're writing. And then very quickly it gets into some long strings. Now again, I don't know how much of this continues on from their previous books, because they do have some beginner lessons on this, and so obviously this is our first time using Cursive Logic. However, this is just the alphabet, and so it's just practicing all the letters at a time. And then midline connections, so just perfecting how to connect certain letters with the different connecting lines. So this is a really good review as well for maybe kids that have been out of learning cursive for a little bit. This would be a good review, kind of going more into some letters, some bigger letters. And then after about like 18 review lessons, then it gets into like how the main lessons look, and so this is how the rest of the pages are set up in this unit. And so it has a famous figure. So obviously this is George Washington. And then it has a state where this person is either from or they did something in that state. And so you learn about Virginia, you learn the capital when it was founded, and then the father of our country, George Washington, the first president. And so if it's a president, they're going to give you his dates, his birthplace, which he was born in Virginia, and then they're going to trace it. So they're going to trace the capital and the state, a quote by George Washington, and then they're going to write it on their own. They're learning cursive. They're learning geography and the US states, and they're learning history of famous figures. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? Like, that's a lot. It's nothing I would think would ever be combined, but they did it. And so that's just how it kind of continues on. It does go through all 50 states, and every state has a specific individual that they're going to learn about. They always have the alphabet to remind them. Check yourself, the 3 Ps, which I don't know what the 3 Ps are, but relaxed hand, light pressure. And so it's really cool. Like lesson 57. So I don't think that the passages are getting any larger than in the first one. It's doing that same concept. So here's Amelia Earhart, Kansas, 1861, a quote by her. You haven't seen a tree until you've seen its shadow from the sky. So like, those are really cool too, those quotes from these people. So you can actually take this further. There's, I'm guessing 50 different people, because there's 50 states. There could be more, I don't know. I didn't go through every single one to count. You could use this to do studies. So this could be like a 2-year study that you make on your own to introduce different like rabbit holes and stuff. I mean, really, you could do whatever you want because there's so much information in this. So this was like a really fun twist. If you have a kid that maybe loves cursive but doesn't love history, like my daughter, this is a really good option because it's something she enjoys, kind of mixed with something that's maybe not as engaging. Or the reverse, maybe you have a child that loves history, loves quotes and learnings about the states and these historical people, but maybe doesn't like cursive. Maybe this will give them that push to accept it a little bit more, right? So you could use it on any side of the spectrum. So I really like this workbook. She's going to be working through this to kind of slow her down a little bit on her traditional handwriting practice and really use it for history also, which I think is really cool. So I'm going to link this down below, as well as it is in the Timberdoodle kit, the 5th grade kit. So I will link that down below. If you guys want to see more information on cursive logic and more lessons, make sure you leave that down below in the comments, as well as don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you do not miss out on my future videos. Thanks so much for watching today's video. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye guys.